and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 14 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing 20 festive-themed Cricut projects in 20 days. Half of the projects are designed by me, and half are guest designer projects from some of my crafting friends. Today's project is by Sarah Christie, and it's this beautiful Christmas banner with a traditional British postbox-inspired design. Sarah is the author and designer at Extraordinary Chaos, a family lifestyle and travel blog from a mum of boys, sharing Cricut crafts, tutorials, and free SVG files, alphabets and colouring alphabets for homeschool and educational fun. She is also the co-editor of Cruising with Kids Family Cruise blog and Mini Travelers Family Travel blog, sharing travel and cruise inspiration for couples and families. Sarah's Merry Christmas banner will make an excellent addition to your home decorations. It uses Cricut's print then cut functionality to create a stunning banner that's quick and easy to make. Let's get started. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. First, register a free ticket for the Christmas Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas23. Click any of the buttons on the page and enter your name and email to register. If you're already registered, check for an email from me with subject line Christmas Craft Countdown ticket information, or any of the other emails from me that you have been sent throughout the countdown. Can't find them? Check your junk or spam box to see if they've gone there by mistake. These emails contain the link to view the countdown projects and download today's files. Scroll down the page to find today's project. Click the button to start the files automatically downloading to your computer or mobile device. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas23 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Christmas Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. All downloads come in zip folders. You need to unzip them before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space.
Hey, I'm Sarah and thank you for joining me on the Christmas Countdown. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me to craft along, and I craft over at Extraordinary Chaos. So today we're going to make a Merry Christmas banner, and what we're going to do is I'm going to work through the process of uploading and making a layered print and cut banner in Cricut Design Space. So you've got two options. You can just make a flat banner and you don't have to layer it up, which is super easy to do. I use banners all the time and it's just great if you need a banner just quickly to just whip one up, print and cut it out. But then we're also going to look at how to make layered banners and banner flags, so that these could be used on personalized cards or they can be used as banners. So we're going to work through that process. So what will you need? So you're going to need white cardstock. So because it's a print and cut project, it needs to be cardstock that's going to go through your printer. So I think my printer takes about 160 GSM, so just check your printer. Anything thicker, my printer struggles, but thick enough that it's not paper, so that your flags when they're hanging are solid, but obviously not too thick that it won't go through your printer. You're going to need some string or ribbon, and we've got here some sticky pads. So I've got the small sticky pads and I just use my weeding tool with it to pick the dots up and to take the top off. Some scissors in case you need to cut your stickers smaller, and glue. Well, you might not need it, but you never know when you need glue, so I just always have some glue handy just in case. I use acrylic glue and Nuvo drops. So these are crystal drops, and this is White Blizzard, and they will be what gives you your snow effect. So you don't actually need much for this. Obviously you need your Cricut Maker or whatever print and cutting machine you've got, or you could make the flat banners and cut them out by hand if it was something you wanted to craft along with the children and you need a printer. Okay, so if we're ready, let's get started. I'm going to start by showing you a few actions. So first of all, duplicate. So that's on the top right hand bar, and then you can duplicate letters. You'll be using that. And now I'm going to show you flatten. So I'm going to select all on this layer, and at the bottom on the right hand side click flatten, and what that will do is that will make your image completely flat, so that will print as one image. the next thing is I'm just going to layer this so you can see this. I'm going to just move that to the back by right clicking and choosing from the menu. And now you've got a layer. So you've got a printable image with a separate layer on top. I'm going to group that. Again, that's on the right hand side at the top. And what that will do is it will enable you to keep it together for the project, but it will print and cut separately. So grouped images will cut separately, flattened will cut as one image. And now we're going to get started on making our banner. But first of all, I want to show you how to make the canvas a colour. So usually it's white, but if you go to the bottom right hand corner and click blank canvas, and you can see it there, I've got it showing as grey. Then go to the top bar and there's a little colour box. Now you can click on any colour you want to change. It's whatever colour you prefer. But can you see that with a white background, I can't see my white flag. And if I'm working with white offsets, I find it really off-putting. Next, we're going to start uploading our files. I'm going to go in and go into the Merry Christmas file and choose my first letter. So choose a letter and click open. Then you're going to click complex. Down to the bottom right hand corner and click continue, and there's my letter. I've taken the back off, so just click apply and continue, select the print and cut image and click upload, and that will be uploaded into your library. So you just go through now and you're going to collect all of your letters one by one. I really wish there was a way to do this in bulk. If anybody knows, please tell me, because when you're doing a couple of letters or a full sentence, it can take a while. But it's also a good idea to label them, but these are already labelled. But if you're labelling anything from scratch, that just makes it easier to search it if you go back to remake the project again. And once they're all in Design Space, you just keep going. Now we can select them all and add them. And once they appear in Design Space, I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller. They're all together at the moment, so just grab on that top corner square and drag them smaller just for now, move them out of the way. And we're going to go to our banner flag. So I'm going to start by clicking on the flag, clicking offset on the top bar and clicking apply. So I'm going to do it at 0.125 and click apply, and that will create an offset on my banner. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to colour it. So choose a colour, and this is going to create a border, and you can do whatever you want. You can do multiple borders, one big one. So I'm going to pull this nearer so I can try and match the colours. Make sure that the offset is print and cut, and then I'm going to click on the colour box on the top next to operation, go on to advanced, and I'm going to choose a colour. So I want maybe a green or a red to match my flag. So just choose that colour, and there you go. So that's my first layer. So you can mess about and change your layers till you get it exactly where you want it. And now we're going to do that again. I'm going to select all of my layers, click offset, and again 0.125. You can mess about, make it a bit bigger if you want. If you're happy, then you can click apply, and that will give me my second offset layer. So because I've got a green layer last time, I'm going to make this one red. And as I say, you can mess about and change it, because if you go into the advanced tab, you can change your patterns. Now, if you watched my Halloween project, you know that you can also click on print type and where it says colour and choose patterns. So that again is another option. But once you're happy, you are going to select all three of your layers and click flatten. And that will flatten your flag into one flat layer. So the three layers become one, so when you send to print and cut, it will be a flag. Well, if you don't do that, it won't. So what I want to do now is make holes. Now this is a bit tricky because this is a flattened layer. I was going to try and slice out my circle out of my layer, but it doesn't do that in Design Space. If you upload a layer that's all one single print and cut layer, it will slice, but not on flattened layers. But there's a way around this. I'm going to show you what to do. So you can only do this. I'm just going to save this first just in case it goes wrong. You can only do this on your own images or images you've got permission to, obviously. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that image and I'm just going to screenshot that flag. So I'm going to move this out of the way now. And I'm going to show you how to do this. If this is your image, then you can do this. And once I've screenshot it, I'm going to re-upload it to Cricut Design Space, and that's how I'm going to make the holes. Because it's a flattened layer, as I say, it won't do it. So screenshot it, and then I'm going to go, it'll be on my desktop, and it will have, so there you go, I'm just going to grab that there. It will have the background, but obviously we couldn't get rid of that. So I'm going to upload image, browse, and I'm going to find my screenshot, and there it is. I'm going to upload that and click complex, continue, and then I'm going to move the background layer by clicking on it, but I'm also going to move those green dots and apply and continue. Then I'm going to print and cut. Now you could use a hole punch to do it, but this just, it does make it easier, not messing about with a hole punch. And I'm going to re-add that to the canvas. And when it's uploaded, you can see, compared to my one that I've already made, that has got the holes missing, so that it will cut out my holes to hang my string through. And as I say, that's a really easy way to do it. It's my image, so I can do that. And now we're going to start building our flag. So I'm going to start by duplicating it and putting a few to one side, because we don't want to lose any. And I'm going to start with M. So I'm going to hover it underneath, and it's gone to the back. So I'm going to right click and send my flag backwards. And then I'm going to position my M. Now, what I'm going to do now is, once I'm happy with the position and the size is the most important thing, then you can duplicate your letter. But you can't do it if you're going to mess about with sizing. Do it when you're happy. So once I've got my position right and I'm happy, then I'm going to go to the top right hand corner and click duplicate. And then I've got 2 layers of my letter M. And this is how you end up with a layered file. So you've got multiple layers, and we're going to attach them together after. So you've got your solid banner and then all the extra layers. What we also need, now I'm going to go down to the bottom corner and flatten one of my letters onto my banner. So that bit will print as one. I'm going to send that to the back, hover my M over the top, and you can see now how they will fit together. Next, I'm going to get my piece of holly, adjust that, and again, this is going to be a layer. So I'm just going to position it where I want it to be. And then when I'm happy, I'm going to right click and I'm going to select the whole file. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to not duplicate, so I'll get rid of that. Do that again. I will group my images, so you can see in the right hand bar that it's all grouped together, so I can move it about and it's all going to stay together. It won't affect the sizes. Now I'm going to go and build my next layer. So I'm going to work on letter E, but before I do that, I'm going to duplicate the M, because obviously there's 2 M's in Merry Christmas. So rather than keep making the same letter again and again, it's easier just to duplicate them. Next, we're going to move on to our E. So I've got the E, I'm going to position it and just make sure it all fits and I'm happy with where it all goes. Duplicate the E so that I've got 2 layers. And then when I've duplicated my E, I will connect my first letter E to my flag. Now we're going to grab a piece of holly, and again, just make sure that everything's lined up. That's it, I forgot to duplicate my letter, and I've got all of my elements I need. Then I can select all, I'm happy with that, so I can flatten it, position my E and my piece of holly, send that to the back so that I can see it. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it's just so that it's together, so that if I want to resize it, I can grab it and resize it, and it will resize the lot. Select all and group it. And there we've got our next letter made. So we're going to work through and we're going to make all of the letters up in exactly the same way. So if you've got any duplicate letters, then you will simply duplicate them so that you can make sure that, say for Merry, so you'll need, for R, you'll need 3. So you make 1, duplicate 3. And what we're going to do now is we are just going to whiz through as I make the rest of the letters. So we don't need to keep going over each one. I don't want to bore you to tears, but you get the picture now, and you can see that I'm building up my alphabet a letter at a time, duplicating anything there's going to be a couple of, and then I'm going to organise them all so I can send them to print and cut. Now, as you can see, because they're all grouped, if I select them all, I can just make them a bit smaller. So I've sent the project to print and cut, and this is how they appear on the mat. So I think I've got 9 pages. So it's going to take a while to print and cut them, but that's okay because I want this result. So send to printer, and then I want you to choose System Dialog and press Print, and it's just a better quality print. If you can't see System Dialog, nip behind, just reduce design space down, choose Fine Quality and A4, and that will send your project to print and cut. And there you go, you can see how it comes out. So now we're waiting for our Cricut to connect, and I'm going to choose heavy cardstock. So I know that this isn't as heavy as that, but I don't want to press down on the mat because I've got new green mats and they can stick a bit. So I'm just going to use heavy cardstock, but I'm going to pop my project on the mat quite gently and pop it into my Cricut machine. Now I know that a lot of people use blue cutting mats, but I just prefer the green. I feel like blue don't really last that long. So they're just a bit too sticky in the beginning, but they last a lot longer. And there you go. So it's all print and cut, and I'm just arranging through my letters. I like to arrange them so that they're where they should be in the words, and then I'm going to work out and arrange my next lot of layers. And I've also got my little hollies, but I've realised I've made a mistake. So this is my letter H, and I must have grouped that one and not flattened it. What I was going to do is just redo it, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you because we make mistakes, don't we? So I'm going to glue this layer to my flag and allow it to dry, so that, not ideal, but it's salvageable, and because we're layering on top of it, you're not really going to notice it, but I just wanted to see that I make mistakes as well. And now I'm going to start building up my layers. So I've got everything I need ready around me. I've got my sticky glue pads, my Nuvo drops, and I'm going to start building a flag letter by letter. We're going to do this by using sticky pads. So I'm just going to use my Cricut hook and pop the sticky pads onto the back of the letter. I've cut some in half so that I can make them smaller and thinner, and that just gets on the thinner bits. Then use my hook to take off all of the backing of the sticky pads, and I'm just going to position it over my letter M. I'm going to pop my holly on, and then I'm going to decorate it now with Nuvo drops. So I absolutely love Nuvo drops, and what these do is these create a layered effect. So they're self-leveling dots. You can get them in different colours. This is like a clear, but it's got a glitter in, so when that dries it's going to be a real snowy effect. And when I lift the flag up, you can see, I mean, it's not dry yet, it may take a while to dry, but it's so effective. They look so pretty, especially when you compare it to a flag that we haven't put the dots on yet. They do look really good. What we're going to do now is we're going to go on to my next letter. So I'll work through a couple of letters with you, and then again I will spare you so that you can build your own. And again, just using the sticky pads. I mean, you could use glue dots, but I just find these work much better for me. And like I said before, I'm just able to cut them smaller and position them around so that they fit every little corner. And then just use my hook to pull the top off. And I've swapped hooks because I realised my old Cricut hook is so scruffy. But does anybody else have a favourite hook, or is it just me? And I'm just going to position it there like that, and again I'm going to add my holly. So using a sticky dot so that it's positioned higher, and you can be as creative as you want and stick as much as you want on. You can even make personalised banners, parties. I have got a whole alphabet that you can grab over on the website, so if you want to do that you can make any message you want. And again, I'm going to just put the Nuvo drops on. And then the secret with these is once you've done it, you've got to put them to one side because they're not dry. They probably take about, I'm going to say 20 minutes to dry, but otherwise you can squash them. So be really careful with that. But once they dry, they look fabulous. And there you go, there's my next letter. We will just whiz through making another letter. They are quite therapeutic actually. If you put some music on and just chill out, then I do quite like doing them, but I'm also conscious that you don't want to see me doing them again and again and again. And I actually, while I was finishing this alphabet on, put video time on and caught up with a pal at the same time. So it's great for catching up with people when you've got long projects. And there you go. So I've just got a bit there that I'm going to add. And there is my alphabet dry and all ready to string up. So now I'm going to get the string. And to measure the string, I just really roughly grab a bit per letter and then a bit over at the end. So I'm going to do it on 2 strings for this, so a Merry and a Christmas. And if you haven't put the holes in for the flags, if you didn't do that step, then you just use a hole punch now to cut them out. Another great thing is you can get the kids, you could print them out, not do the print and cut step, and with some children's scissors you could get the children to actually print out the flags and not layer them. So that is also one of those rainy day or snowy day projects when you want to keep the kids happy in front of a Christmas movie. Making banners is a great way to do that. So I'm going to cut my twine. You could use ribbon. I just like to use the twine because it looks a bit more natural. And I'm going to start building. So when I build my flags, I mean, it's totally up to you the way you do this, but I always go in the top, the front hole, and out of the other one, so that the most of the string sits around the back, and that just makes the flag look a lot neater. So pull it right through. I find if you try and thread it all onto the end and pull it through, I always end up breaking one. So pull it through and then go back to the end like that. And we're just going to keep threading on until we've added it all. What you could do is you could add some baubles on there. You can get tiny baubles. You can pop candy canes on and hang them on and just keep going until it's done. So I've put Merry on one and Christmas on the other because I want to hang it in 2 festoons, but you could put it all on one ribbon. But here we go, it's all finished, and I just love the snowy effect. You can see how it's all glistening and pretty, and because it's layered, it just gives it another effect. As I say, you don't have to layer it, but I love the result of layering. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful, and I don't know if not everybody works with print and cut, do they? But it's my absolute favourite. So I like to work with people on print and cut projects and just show you all the stuff you can do that, yeah, layered cutting and SVG cutting is brilliant. But if, for kids' parties and themes, this is print and cut is fab. So I hope you enjoyed making your banner. So just before we go, I just wanted to give you a huge thank you for crafting along with me, but I also wanted to show you some files that I make over on my site. So as I say, my site is extraordinarychaos.com. Sarah's going to pop the link in so that if you want to join my mailing list, you're free to. You can get the full alphabet and number set if you want to make personalised cards and projects over on the website. I'll make sure it's on the home page. And then I just thought I'd show you a few other files I make. So I'm passionate about alphabets and letters and festive wreaths. So I try to, it's all wordy, it's all about words or letters so that you can build up or personalise things. And I think when my boys were growing up, you couldn't get anything that was personalised. It was really difficult. So to be able to just make personalised stuff, party decorations, party gifts, birthday gifts, cards, I like to do that. So this is my layered, again, it's a printable alphabet, angel alphabet. So I've got printable alphabets and SVG alphabets so that you've got a choice, and I've got hundreds, so there's so much choice. But then I also like to work with words, so layered files of words. And this Deck the Hollies is, I think it's a 5-layered file. But then the great thing about these is you can flatten them, make them smaller and make them into printable stickers. So I love doing that too. If you'd like to pop over and sign up for my mailing list, then please do, and you'd be very welcome into my little community. I send out a weekly newsletter and with all my latest updates of new files and themed files of the week. So as I say, I make SVG alphabets and I make printable alphabets. So there is something for everybody and most themes. And thank you so much for crafting along. I have loved being involved in the countdowns, and Merry Christmas.
I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a postbox inspired Merry Christmas banner. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and festive fun. Don't forget, the link to get the cut files for this project is craftwithsarah.com/Christmas23, but they are only free to download for 24 hours after this video goes live. I hope to see you tomorrow for day 15 of the Christmas Craft Countdown. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!